What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on part number 4 of the MotoGP 25 career mode for the Qatar Grand Prix today at the Losail International Circuit. If you missed any of the previous episodes, then I recommend you go back and check them out because it obviously sets the scene for the Qatar Airways Grand Prix of Qatar at this stunning Losail International Circuit, obviously held in the day conditions here in Moto 3, sunset in Moto 2, and under the floodlights for the Premier Class in MotoGP. But it's 21 degree air temperature, 23 degree track temperature for practice. Nice stable conditions for us to get our eye in and get this Moto 3 bike dialed up for the weekend. We're coming into this one off the back of a double podium finish in the last two races, back-to-back podiums with a podium in Argentina and a podium in America. So we've got a bit of momentum behind us now with a double podium finish. But it was obviously our teammate, if you remember from the last episode, who took victory in Texas, a surprise win for Nicola Carraro on the Sniper's bike. We came home in third after what turned out to be a pretty brutal Grand Prix of the Americas. Everybody crashing out at turns 11 and 12, the two hairpins, catching the inside curb, and then also crashing at turn 13. We saw crashes for the likes of Furusato, for Burasri, for Joel Kelso, a championship contender, Munoz, and Foggia, who obviously was victor in Argentina. So it all kind of cracked off in America last time out, but we're here in Qatar now, and we are getting underway with practice number, well, the only practice that counts towards qualifying on Friday afternoon for Moto 3. We've got to be in the top 14. Everybody on the left at the minute in the tower with that white number behind, well, the white board behind the number that they're currently in, are qualified directly through to Q2. So we're coming through the lap. We're about a second under our previous lap, which was a bit of a stinky one. We had a mistake at turn number 4. The first of the two rights going in a bit wide and then nearly high-siding off the edge of the curb. Luckily, we didn't actually invalidate the lap, so I don't know if the game decided that we lost a lot of time there as we nearly high-sided ourselves to the moon between turn 4 and 5. But we're coming to the end of what is our first genuine flying lap. We're going red in the middle, two personal bests, and across the line it is P7 at the line. So we're going to make a couple of changes to the bike to see if we can unlock a little bit more potential from this Moto 3 Honda. But as you can see, the tyre on the right hand side of the rear has kind of already fallen away. We've only done 2 flying laps, and if you look at the rear tyre markings on the right hand side of the screen in the graphic in the hood, we have lost a little bit of feeling, and that unfortunately then transgressed into our first crash of the session. But managed to get the bike back and get the repairs done. Brand new soft tyres for the time attack because we need it at the minute, as we are outside of the all-important top 14. We're down in 23rd place, but look how close it is. We're only just over 0.6 of a second off Angel Piqueras with his 2 minutes 2.8. We've done a 2 minutes 3.483, so we are literally just 0.6 of a second off the top, and we're down in 23rd place. So already it looks like it's going to be quite a hectic Grand Prix, and if you're literally a 10th off the pace, you're going to be quite the way down the order, which we need to keep an eye on throughout the weekend. But coming to the end of a lap, it looks like we are going to go top with this just by 29 thousandths of a second, a 2:02.850, and that is going to be good enough to see us through, I think, into Q2. And at the end of the session, it is indeed, we go fastest by 23 thousandths. Jose Antonio Rueda jumps up to second, but a big kind of story is the winner last time out, Carraro, outside of the top 14, down in 25th position for him. He's joined out there by the likes of Furusato, Burasri, so a lot of big names who was running at the front in America haven't made it through to Q2 here in Losail International Circuit. But as we head into qualifying, similar conditions, once again a nice stable weekend in the desert in Qatar. But as we cross the line to start our first flying lap in this Q2 session, the target is obviously somewhere near the front. The front 2 rows would probably be nice, but we would like to get another pole position to our name. We've only got one so far this season, and that was back in Argentina earlier on. So through turn number 1, not the best run through the opening right-hander, to be fair. Didn't quite carry the speed, a bit of inside curb on the way in, and then we missed the apex completely at turn 2. So we've kind of given up already quite a lot of time. So it's not going to be the best lap, but as we get through turn 6 nice and cleanly, and then through turn 10, the long left-hander that then leads to the fastest point of the track. But we pick up the lap later on in turn 15, getting right up on the top of the curb, and just one corner to go, and we will see what we've got already. Bear in mind that our fastest time in practice, our pace setting time, was a 2:02.8. Piqueras, a 2:01.4 already in this session. We've gone faster than what we managed in practice, a 2:02.5.06 on our first lap, which, by the way, wasn't really anything special. But if you just take a glance at the top right, we are 1.5 seconds underneath Piqueras in the middle sector, right? So something fishy is going on, I think, because we're down on our time, but we are 1.1 under Piqueras in the third sector, but 66 thousandths there as we come out of the final corner and find a bit of time away from our own time. So even though we're 1.1 seconds faster, we then cross the line and end up 9/10 of a second slower than Piqueras' 2:01.4. So whatever the AI are doing in the final sector, they're gaining like 2 seconds on me in this qualifying session. Because we go from 1.1 under as we get very close with Pini, I think that was, coming out of the pits. But yeah, we're kind of 1.1 under midway round, and then we lose that time and then add 9/10 to it. So we lose 2.1 seconds effectively in the final corner, and then on our final qualifying lap of the session, we lost the front, and Jose Rueda actually crashed at the same time, identical time. We both hit the floor at the identical time, so our lap would have been cancelled anyway with yellow flags. But it is going to be a top 10. It's 10th on the grid for the Qatar Grand Prix, but the front row is Piqueras, Rueda and Bertelli.
A very warm welcome from the Qatar Peninsula. We're at the Losail International Circuit near the capital city of Doha. Just a few more moments and we'll switch to the starting straight for the Moto3 class race.
Here we go then, race time at the Qatar Grand Prix. Temperature has risen by a single degree compared to qualifying, 22 degree air, 24 degree track. That will be no problem for us whatsoever on these little Moto3 bikes. We'll probably get away running the soft tyre. To be fair, a quick glance at the grid, as I mentioned, is Piqueras, Rueda and Bertelli on pole position. We're going from down in 10th place, where hopefully we'll be able to go forward in this race. But the pace of the AI in that qualifying isn't too ideal at all. And until we went on a push lap ourselves at the end of practice, we weren't even inside the top 20. So I think we've got a bit of a session on our hands here if we want to come away with anything from this race worth a championship battle. We need to try and get some points on the board.
Exciting lap complete. It's important to have warmed up the tyres or they could have problems on turns 2 and 6. All eyes on the lights now. Everything's ready for the start of the Qatar Grand Prix.
6 laps ahead of us at the Losail International Circuit, going from the 4th row of the grid. Let's see what we can do then as the lights go out and we go racing in Qatar. It's not a good start at all. We've already lost the 2 positions to PD and Rolston, but we're going to somehow pick up a little bit of momentum as we get going towards turn number 1 and make up a couple of those positions into turn number 1, round the outside of Pini. And it looks like we might hang on to 10th position, but we get a little bit boxed in there. I think that was Carpe. Yeah, Carpe we got boxed in behind. Around the outside of him, though, at turn number 2. And we have moved up to 8th position. So gaining 2 places through that opening couple of corners into P8. And already onto the back of Fernandez, who in the last episode, if you remember, had a couple of angry faces at us. But he's all neutral now as we make a mistake on the opening lap. Again, like we did in the first lap of practice, running up onto the curb, but thankfully not losing the rear. That would have been quite a hairy moment on the opening lap of the race to do that. But as you were, as we head through turn number 6, it's Rueda out front. Munoz has got himself up into 2nd, Piqueras 3rd, as Rueda, I think that is running very, very wide, and that gives Munoz the lead of the race. Bertelli up into 3rd now as well, so it's all cracking off at the front, and already you can see that they're kind of putting a little bit of air between that group of 7 and then us in 8th position. We're kind of there, but we aren't close enough to do anything at all, and despite them fighting away, they're still able to kind of maintain just that like 0.2 of a second gap that they have, which just kind of stops me from putting an attack on. But a little bit of argy-bargy through turn number 1. We've gone well off the track there, and that will surely be a track limits warning. It is indeed. and then we brake a little bit earlier just so we don't gain that advantage into turn 4 and make a pass on Kelso, because that would be quite unfair, and that actually puts us under pressure from Alvaro Carpe behind. You've got Rollstone there as well, and I think Furusato is chilling just outside the top 10, but a bit of argy-bargy ahead as Max Quiles goes down. He went wide with Fernandez, and then Pini hits the stricken bike, but Fernandez ran Quiles really wide there off the edge of the track, and Quiles goes down. We gain the position but then lose it straight away as Alvaro Carpe comes through with a big brave move at turn 12 on the entrance to that very fast right hand section of the circuit, but through the penultimate corner, and yeah, no way through on Alvaro Carpe on that MT bike, so we have to settle back into 8th position, but we have got a bit of a run on him, and we might be able to take the move down the inside at the final corner, up the inside, just kind of block his line. He can't turn in, and we do get back up into P7, but we have now got just shy of a second. We've got 0.8 of a second to try and catch to the group in front. It's a 2:02.7 though, the fastest lap of the race. We posted a 2:03.5, so our pace at the minute isn't quite as we hoped. It is kind of more what we were doing in practice on the longer runs with the fuel. Not quite able to get into the 2:02s there until the end of the session when we had new tyres and lower fuel. But as we look back at our teammate who's gone down out of the race potentially on the sniper's bike, he's back on, but he's way back at the back of the field, and that's a shame for him. After winning the race in Texas, he sets the fastest lap of the race though, does Nicolo Caro, so he has got a little bit of free air and able to battle away as well. So yeah, shame for him after victory in Texas, but it is what it is as we continue to get our elbows out with Alvaro Carpe, because we aren't really we aren't able to get closer to this leading group. So it seems to have become a group of 6 out front, and then the battle for 7th seems to go from here pretty much to the back of the grid. So whether we're a bit of a cork in the bottleneck, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to wait and see as this race pans out. We might have a little bit more pace towards the end of the race if we can look after the tyre, and when the fuel level drops, we'll be able to get back into the clutches of that top 6, especially as they keep battling away. But out front, it's still Munoz who leads the way. Bertelle in second as Rollstone runs into the back of us, and then Furusato runs into the back of him, and we get pushed wide. Somebody's gone down further behind, but that doesn't matter for now because we have got to try and get back at Tayo Furusato, who just rams his way through not only Jacob Rollston but through on us as well. We do manage to hold Rollston behind us, but Furusato has got through, and that has wound me up a little bit. He does get a warning for irresponsible riding after just absolutely annihilating myself and Jacob Rollston. So we have a little bit of fire in our belly now, so I'm pretty sure the next move that we get, whenever there's half a chance, we will be sticking our Honda up the inside of his 658 Honda and back into P8, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. He has a bit of a mistake there on the inside curb. That might be an opportunity. We go in a little bit wider, and we do just give him a tap out of the way there, so not the cleanest of moves, but after what he did to us a few corners ago, I'm pretty sure that we'll be alright with that one. But we make a mistake at turn 6, just catching the inside curb, and Furusato gives us a little wave and a little laugh as he rides his way back through and into P8. But we're still under pressure now from the 2 Red Bull KTM bikes of Rollston and Perrone behind us in 10th and 11th, but we managed to get a switch back on Furusato back into P8, and again Furusato rubbing us and pushing us off the track, and we get a track limits warning for that. He comes through, we do a beautiful switchback though and thread the needle between the closing Rollston and then Furusato as well, and we do get back into P8, so back ahead of the Japanese rider. And look who's coming as well, who's now just got ahead of Perrone and split the 2 Tech 3 bikes. Dennis Foggia, who had a bit of a disappointing weekend up to now, and again we're trying to go as fast as we physically can through these right-handers, and the AI just have something more every single time. We get a push from Furusato, which pushes us wide, and we get another track limits warning. But back at the front, this is Munoz. He leads Bertelle, and then there's a bit of a gap behind as it stands. As somebody's gone down, it's one of the Leopards, it's Fernandez. Adrian Fernandez has crashed out of the race. I don't know what happened there, whether he was pushed or shoved or fell down by himself, but we'll get another look at that shortly. But Fernandez has gone out of this race as we move back into P8, and it's now going to be B7 as we try and slipstream our way by Furusato, but for some reason that Honda of Furusato has just got a little bit more oomph and a bit more legs, whether he's got a bit longer gearing, maybe a bit shorter gearing out the corner just to get a bit more of a punch, and then a bit longer at the top for a little bit more revs or what, but we couldn't quite get past him despite using the slipstream for 3/4 of the straight. We are still behind the Japanese rider on what is the 6th and final lap of the Qatar Grand Prix. We've got a couple of overtaking opportunities, the first one being here at turn 4. We're down the inside, we half commit, but we do just about get alongside him, run him a little bit wide, and we are into P7 now. So back ahead of Furusato, and let's see if we can hang on. This is what happened with Adrian Fernandez. He touches the inside curve, goes down, and I tell you what, Rueda was so lucky there not to actually get caught up with him and taken down. It might have been Kelso, but I think it was Jose Rueda. So Antonio Rueda, lucky that he didn't get through. But as we look at the finish, it's going to be Munoz to win. Bertele leading Kelso home to complete the podium. We come home though for a P7, and our worst result of the season so far actually at the end of that one. So not overly happy with that, especially with the way that Carpe was able to drop us quite soon once he got ahead of us. So a little bit frustrating race there. Kind of didn't really get an opportunity to go forward. We were being attacked every single opportunity from the guys behind, which, you know, is all fair game. You have to attack or be attacked in Moto 3, and we were the latter in that race. But it's Munoz on top, and looking down the field, we lost Ogden and Fernandez. Our teammate finished at the back of the grid after his earlier fall as well. But it's David Munoz to claim what I think is his first win of the season. I might be wrong there. However, somehow, because we were obviously, our nearest rival was Fernandez, I think it was, in second, and he crashed out, we've extended our lead in the championship to 6 points. So despite us having a bit of an off day and not getting the result that we wanted, we've been able to extend our lead to 6 points now over Joel Kelso, who's back up into second position. David Munoz takes a big leap into third. The top of the standings in the team championship, it remains Kelso and Rueda. We are second, 10 points behind, so it's certainly not over yet. But we have the small matter now of the development side of things. Now we have been focusing primarily on the chassis. However, back in Texas, we made it clear that we were down on power. We weren't able to slipstream our way between 11 and 12, and we weren't able to make a pass into turn 12 on the brakes. And that was the same here. You saw down the straight with Furusato, weren't able to drag past him despite using the slipstream on the Japanese rider. So that's going to be the area that we are going to continue focusing on as we head to Europe, the most exciting point of the season, and the Jerez circuit for the Gran Premio Estrella Galicia 00 de España at the Circuito de Jerez. I'm looking forward to that one. It's a track that I enjoy. It's a track that I think everybody enjoys, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fierce battle once again. But we lead the championship heading into the European stage by 6 points over Joel Kelso. So there we go. That's been the Qatar Grand Prix. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you with a brand new video very soon. So until then, thank you for watching, and goodbye.